Hey, 118 Seth Shadow here. Today I am bringing you an opening of the brand new Nightrose and Harri Stride deck sets. Both of these just released yesterday, and in addition to these, there are also the regular deck sets that don't come in these bigger boxes. They're more like in, what do you call them? They're in their own storage boxes, but significantly smaller than this. These premium variants have a whole lot more to them, and let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside. So, while I'm figuring out how to open these, just a little bit of background. So, Nightrose and Harri are two units that originated in Cardfight Vanguard during the G era, where we had all the strides come out with Chronojet and Messiah. Then we've seen Luard and Shiranui as well. Nightrose and Harri came out a little bit after Messiah did, and they were also played by the two idols of the series. So during the G series, there was a duo who dubbed themselves Rummy Labyrinth, Ami and Luna. Luna was the one who played Harri, while Ami was the one who played Nightrose. A bit of a spoiler. Ami also has a different identity when it comes to when she was first introduced into the series and ended up as the villain for some time. But due to circumstances, that changed, and while she's not a main character per se, as an idol character, she does make her appearances in the anime throughout. But ever since the end of G era, that's ended. So now these Stride deck sets are basically in memory of those two, as well as their favorite units, Nightrose and Harri. So let's go ahead and see what's inside these boxes. Let's start with the Nightrose side. Nightrose was originally was a unit of the Granblue clan. And let's go ahead and see what we got here. So, starting from this here is that's right, the premium deck box that you get with the whole thing. So Nightrose is on the front with a foldable opening. If I can just get this thing open. Alright. So, essentially, what, cloth leatherette? I'm actually not sure what the actual material this is. You open it up. Okay, so they do have that in there too. Is this? Oh! Okay. So you gotta take that part off first, but yeah, pretty nice quality overall. I mean, for a premium deck set that's supposed to be what right now, when I was talking about on my market watch yesterday, now you have to pick these up for about $200. Over that, actually. So there's that. There's a set of sleeves in here as well. I don't know how many sleeves are actually in here though. I'm going to guess from this amount, it's probably just 50 or 54 sleeves, just so you have a few extra, because normally they come as 70 sleeve packs or higher these days. Then you also have these top loaders that are intended for the ride deck, so each of these have... I'll open them up. Let's take a look. Come on. Wow, this is actually kind of hard to open. Alright, so let's see. These are all part of the ride deck, and then you have one that you can use for the energy generator as well. Each of these indicates one of the ride units for this whole deck. So, Grenache is your starter, Parting Shade is your grade 1 crest generator, and then Columbard is the grade 2 of the ride line, while Nightrose is your grade 3. In addition, there's also a playmat available that also features Nightrose on it, with a very interesting looking signature on it too. We're gonna keep that one closed though. And then, let's see. They also gave you these markers that you typically get with the starter decks. And then there's the energy generator one. So it looks like they stopped with the... Yeah. From Messiah, at the very least, they used to have these more acrylic ones that were a whole lot better quality than these. And you would actually have a set of stickers that you could put on them too. So kind of a shame that they took that out. And then, of course, the storage box, which it's big. You can fit quite a few things in here. For the ones that I already have, I use these to fit decks in there. So, yeah. There are just lots... There are lots of uses. For some of them, I actually use them to store away my holofoils for each of the different sets that I keep getting. Another one I just use to store away my decks, because I have too many right now. In fact, I'm just trying to offload wherever I can. Even as I say that, here I am with yet another deck. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the deck looks like. Now, this is the premium set, so there is going to be a difference in this deck in comparison to what is available in the regular ones. And I'll try to point them out as we go. So, let's take a look. Obviously, Nightrose is in here, and then you've got Columbard, here's Parting Shade, and then Grenache. So that is your entire ride line, and all of them are holofoil, which should be the case for the regular deck sets as well. You have the energy generator in here as well. Does not look like they put the number, but the number counter, but I guess we might see it later. Let's find out. So, because this is a premium deck set, though, every other card in here is going to be a foil. So, 3 Nightroses, and 3 Swordsman Columbards. Nightstorm is also back. So, let's see. 4 copies of that. Then we've got Negrolazy in here. Marauding Shade. Cam the Ghosty. 4 of those too. And then Tommy the Ghosty Brothers. Negrobone too. And our perfect guard for this one is Waterspout Jin. The Overtrigger comes in this set as well. And this one is for Stoicheia specifically. This is not foil though. No matter what, whether it's premium or not, this thing is never foil, which is kind of sad. And the same goes for the other triggers here. Like, we actually got Abyss Temptation, which is one of the more popular critical triggers to pick up for Stoicheia in general. But these are not foil. And then we got Lost Child of Attachment. This one, I think, came from set 1 as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it came from set 1. We got front triggers, Grudgeful Hatchet, which we only have 3 of. LG Pixie is in here. And now we start getting into the Strides. The Strides in the premium deck set are fully holofoil. And if I can get it, I think... Yeah, they are still textured. That's supposed to be a premise of it, so... You will get 4 copies of our new Phantasm Nightrose. And then you also get... Wow, that is dark. Ghosty Great King Obadiah. All of these are all full art. And then you also have the Crest. And in the premium deck set, you get this token rare version, which has texture and has more shine to it on the border. You can see the difference between that and the regular Crest here, which is also a hollow foil. And yeah, they put the energy counter at the back of it. So yeah, you will get the energy counter for that. And that is the Nightrose deck set. Let's go ahead and move over and take a look at Harri. Get this one out of the way. Alright, now for Harri. Just like before, we have the large storage box, and oh wow, this one did not survive the trip that well. Jeez. Okay, but thankfully it looks like everything's just still in pretty good condition anyway. So we have the Harri deck box this time around. And in terms of looks, let's go ahead and take a look at this one. So just as before, features Harri on the front. Cardfight, Vanguard, Pale Moon. Yep. I remember with what I heard on the Luard one, that one apparently had Okay, it's this font. It's definitely this font. That looks like an H. I'm sure that was supposed to be a K, but that looks like an H. That is funny. And then the magnet is really strong on this thing. I mean, that's good. At the very least, then it won't just fall off that easily. Yep. But yeah, just like with the Nightrose one, pretty good quality overall. And then let's see. Like with Nightrose, Harri has its own ride line top loaders. So Harri, of course, for the grade 3. Car dealer Jacqueline is the grade 2. You have Moonlight Melody Tamer Betty as the grade 1. Happiness Collector is the grade 0. And here is the clan-based one, which you can use for your energy generator. Previously, even for Chronojet and Messiah, we got those clan ones, but we didn't have the energy generator at the time, so there wasn't really any major use for it. We have Harri sleeves as well, just like with Nightrose, which I'm assuming is just 54 sleeves. And then there's the mat. Ah, they use the same font, which is actually pretty nice. I like this font. And with Harri, well, between Nightrose and Harri, I think these actually fit quite nicely. All right. And just like with Nightrose, we get the cheap counters. And the interesting thing is that we only have 5 actual marker counters for crits and power, and then you have the energy counter. But the ones that originally came with the other deck sets also had a Persona Ride one, and they had way more for like 5k power, I think 3k power, and some other things too. And the fact that they were acrylic, that was a whole lot more quality. It's a shame, but yeah, that's one thing that they really dragged on. But to be fair, I haven't even used mine for a while, so... Alright, and now for the deck set. Now, personal opinion on this one, as good as Nightrose looked, when it comes to Pale Moon and a lot of the stuff that we're getting here for Harri, I love the artwork on the stuff in here a whole lot more. But let's go ahead and see what's in here. So, we have our ride line, Harri, Jacqueline, Betty, Happiness Collector, again all foil. The energy generator is in here. Then 3 more copies of Harri. Then 3 more of Jacqueline. Flying Manticore. And we get a pretty bright one here. Oh, it's a Direful doll this time. Ornetta. Yeah, and because it's a Direful doll, let me see. If you're... Oh, no. They do lock it into the crests, so... Yeah, even as a Direful doll, it doesn't look like you'll be able to use it with Direful dolls. Dark Side Princess. That is also a blast from the past. Cutie Paratrooper is also a blast from the past. Many of these are. And there's Masquerade Bunny. Just like with Tommy Brothers, this one is intended to be like the stride fodder as well as the searcher for Harri. Oh, this one was just a plain soul charge too. I mean, Pale Moon was all about just calling stuff from soul continuously. Essentially, Pale Moon is a circus. And then Darkside Mirror Master is our perfect guard for this one. The Overtrigger, it's Galmag, the original one, which gives 10k and a crit. As before, not foil. And the same goes for these triggers. Swankily Enthraller. I feel like this one was from Festival 2023, right? I can't remember. It probably was, considering I did not pick up... I didn't really pick up any of that. Sky Actress, also from 2023? Interesting. So it feels like I feel like they just went with 2023 when it comes to the triggers for this one. And now we're on to the strides. So we've got Dragon Masquerade Harri. 4 copies of that. Textured. And perfectly full art. And then they made that a long name. Jester Demonic Dragon Lunatic Dragon. Yep. Oh man, that looks very, very nice. And then the crests. So let's see what we got here. Yep, just as before, both foiled. And when it comes to the token rare one, textured, and it uses a purple theme as opposed to the blue that Nightrose used. And then we have our energy counter. Yeah. But just like I said, my preference is on the Harri one in terms of the artwork, but regardless, those full arts and everything else that's available in here, whether it's Nightrose or Harri, this is all just gorgeous stuff. I mean, it's expensive, but hey, you gotta pay for good art, right? Alright, that concludes the segment on looking over the premium deck sets. And as promised in the comments, I also have a mystery box that I am going to be opening today in relation to them. Everyone remember back in G format how we used to have boxes that were 30 packs as opposed to just 16 today? Well, we're going to be taking a look at Absolute Judgment back from the G era. So, if I'm lucky, I might actually be able to pull a God pack out of this. This came with God packs for individual clans that were available in this set. So that includes Royal Paladin and Neo Nectar definitely had them. And then I don't remember if Genesis actually had it. Not every single clan in here had it, if I remember correctly, because Gear Chronicle... Or actually, I don't even think Gear Chronicle is in this set, so it might have been all of them. But we're going to crack open one of these boxes today and take a look. But Pale Moon and Grand Blue are both supported in this set as well, so we are going to be seeing what we can grab out of here. And this does not want to focus. Okay, I'm just going to have to work it as I go. But let's see. Absolute Judgment has a lot of big cards that came in here. Gold Paladin is also supported in this set, where you had Gold Reigning Dragon. I think that was what it was called. There are some other differences when it comes to these packs. Even though I say that there are 30 of them, there are some other differences. Today's packs, you get 16 of them in a box, but you get 7 cards, and 2 of them are going to be at least rare. But in the case of these older packs, you only got 5 cards in each one, and then you got 1 rare among them. So, by decreasing the number of packs, but increasing the number of cards, they still made it so that you will get a lot of rarer cards, while also producing less cards overall. So they actually produce more cards overall before. So let's see. 12, 16, 19? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I miscounted that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yep. 30 packs of 5 cards as opposed to 16 packs of 7 cards. When you do the math, that is what? 30 times 5 is 150. And 16 times 7 is what? 2, carry the 4. 112. So it's a decrease of 38 cards overall. And as for ratios, I don't really remember how the ratios were for these. But without further ado, let's go ahead and see what we can get in here. Alright, so Handsomeness Glam Mario. That's Granblue. And then some more Granblue right there. Some Neonectar here. Alia. And of course, the trigger that we don't have since G format ended, the stand trigger has become a relic of the past. It's still used in premium quite a lot. And then Demented Executioner. It is a rare, but I guess it is not. Yeah, the foiling is not that shiny on this one. It's hard to grab with the camera. Alright, let's see what we got next. Escort Eagle, that's Royal Paladin. Deck Skull. And then Champaru. A critical trigger. Oh yeah, and just again for reference, these critical triggers are significantly weaker in comparison to what we've got for standard. They were only 10k shields, and all triggers only gave 5k power back in the day, so that's quite a change. And then we got a G Guardian. So, another factor of the G era, in addition to strides, like what we got with the stride deck sets, there are also Guardians that you can play in the G zone. This one is for Genesis. Sky Dome, Battle Maiden, Hana Satsuki. Let me see if I can open these like this. Okay, it is not easy. Yeah. When it comes to Vanguard packs, they were really made to just be opened like this. Much easier to do so. Alright. Gold and Royal Paladin there. So Orneus versus Reagan. We got Toka, who is for Genesis. And then we got... right, Nightmare Dolls. Before we had Direful Dolls, we had Nightmare Dolls, and this was one of my favorite archetypes back then. Rambling Shade. This one is a rare. And then we got Kotonoha. This was a fun card. Lady Battler of the Black Dwarf. Yes, that was a great card too. Heliopause Dragon. Yeah, that's not a big one. Cody the Ghosty. And then a rare... Okay, so this is a Sentinel for Neonectar. This one was for Arboros Dragon. Pay the cost, call 5. Okay, so this one is more of a... Choose a Guardian with the same card name. You may return it to your hand, I see. Yeah. So, in addition to perfect guards, back in the day we also had something called the Quintet Wall, where instead of being a discard from your hand in order to make it so the attack doesn't hit during the battle, instead you counterblast 1 typically, and then you call the top 5 cards of your deck as Guardians. And eventually they had to start making some other sorts of... They had to make some other incentives to play them, because perfect guards were still heavily preferred. Barking Dragon Tamer. This one. Discarded, pay the cost. Okay, not specifically Harry, but it is its own grade 3 too, so... Could build something around that. It's intended to be a Vanguard. And an old Cray Elemental, Ray Elemental Peachon. This one was all the units in the same column as this unit lose resist and can't gain it. So if you wanted to take out something pesky that just had resist and you couldn't deal with it, that could do it. Yeah, all these different effect triggers versus vanilla triggers that you can get in here. And all these packs, Alright, Horsia, which is Gold Paladin. All these packs, most of them were supposed to be guaranteed to at least have a trigger in them. Because almost every single pack that you could get always had triggers in its card decks, in its card list. And we got a... This one's not a quintet wall per se, but this is a funny Sentinel for Genesis. When you play it from hand during the battle phase, you choose any number of cards from your soul, put them in the drop, then you call the same number of cards from the top of your deck to your Guardian Circle. So it's basically a quintet wall on steroids. As long as you've got a lot of soul, which Genesis was a clan that just built soul so easily, you could basically call a whole lot of cards to protect you. And it was heavily used with Regalia, because by soul blasting cards, you also increase the power of your Vanguard permanently for the rest of the turn. Nightmare Dull Claris. So that effectively made it near impossible for your opponent to hit you after playing the card. Gemnire. Oh, this one was from the manga, intended to give your Vanguard extra crit power. Boulder Feather Ghoul. This set for Genesis also introduced the keyword Revelation, which allows you to take a look at the top card of your deck, and then you can put it back on top, or you can just put it straight to Soul. Nightmareland. Oh yeah, Nightmareland was an archetype. It never really took off, though. Oh, this card! Goddess of Sound Sleep Taro. If you remember this one, Taro was a very annoying card for Genesis, and it enabled what's called the Wiseman loop. Basically, Taro's ability is, when this card is Soul Blasted, you put it back into the deck and stand one of your units. So the idea is that there was an old card called Angelic Wiseman, where every time it would attack, you Soul Blast 3 cards and it gets 5k. Since it does it during the battle phase, if you Soul Blast Taro, you can restand the Wiseman and it has an extra, or actually it's a 4k bonus. So basically, you just attack, Soul Blast the Taro, and then you just attack with it again, Soul Blast another Taro, and you keep the process going. And you're able to refill your soul in the battle phase, so it's almost like an infinite attack loop. Taro was such a funny card back then. I've had a lot of interesting games with that, where I came back from the brink on my very first stride because of that combo. And actually managed to win in that same turn. Sharon and Hernius. Yeah. My fond memories of this set are mostly on the Link Joker and the Genesis side. Otherwise, most of these cards, they're great. I mean, artwork-wise, it's still great. That's the whole reason I got into Vanguard in the first place. Ah! Alright, we got a triple rare this time. Golden Dragon, Glorious Reigning Dragon. Now, this one, when Premium really started to take off, this was actually way sought after for quite some time. It's been reprinted, but ultimately what this card is just call cards from the top of your deck to continuously keep on repeat attacking. And since Gold Paladin in V format became Axel, it enabled you to call a whole bunch of new front row units. So the number of attacks that you could get easily exceeded 5 with that card. Alright. Deck Skull. Shampuru. We got another Gotonoha. Shooting Ray. Alright, we got another Sentinel. So, Succubus of Avarice, a double rare. What was this one again? For Darkness. Darkness is a keyword where if you put a card into your soul this turn, it's active. So you choose a grade 1 or less rearguard, retire it, and you can put this card from soul to your hand. Now, this can only protect the Vanguard, though. A lot of the cards that came out in the G era as Sentinels, particularly Perfect Guard Sentinels, were only allowed to block for the Vanguard. Now, most of the time you'll do that anyway, so it's of very little consequence, but there are some situations where you might prefer to block a rearguard. Rani, this was its own archetype. Sunwheel Maiden Ronnie and High Flower Maiden Marka. Marka is a grade 3 that can basically, or I don't remember if it was rearguard or Vanguard centric, but if I pull it, I can point that out. Red Star Dual Horn seems to be somewhat interesting on the secondary market too. At least for a common, it's somewhat sought after. Night of Flight Danius. This one is a rare too. And Royal Paladin during the G format had Brave, which Brave was a concept where if you had less than 3 cards in your hand, the skill is active. So basically, you're really gambling in terms of playing with defense ability on your next turn, and instead just going for pure offense. Star Vader Infinity Distray. So this is supposed to work in tandem with the old Break Ride, Infinite Zero Dragon. Alright, Reagan. Tolka. Drill Monk of the Fierce Foot. Also great artwork. Link Joker ultimately just has a lot of good artwork in general. Praise Evil Tamer Muriel. A rare card for Pale Moon. This one is... Pay the cost. Okay, so this is for Magia, which is effectively Harry. And on top of that, it's a grade 3, but it's more of a support one. Alright, let's see what we got here. Vex Streamer, Palma. Also, the whole 7 Seas deck that really got enabled with this set. This is actually a grade 1 base deck that overtook the Stride format simply because since it can play at grade 1, it prevents your opponent from striding entirely. Prehistoric Regalia Earth. So this was an interesting card too. What did it do? It basically restored your soul first. Let me see. Put all the cards with Regalia from your drop to soul. And then it also has the ability to Soul Blast 6 to get 10k in a crit. And it's not limited to once per turn. So, if you had enough soul, you could do it 2 or 3 times to basically buff it up enough to 4 crit potentially. And still give it a lot of power. Proton Striker, Succubus. Great Skipper Supreme. Don't remember this one. A hollow support card, but I don't remember Nightrose really ever using that one. Let's see what else we can get here. Pamela. Rainstar. Another G Guardian, and for Neonectar, Flower Princess of Autumn Scenery, Verna. Still have a lot of packs to go on this one. Let's see. Gelga. This was actually one of the big ones here because it was, put this card on the bottom of the deck from yours during the main phase. Stand a rear guard, it gets 3k, and if you have a Fenrir Vanguard, you soul charge 2 and give a unit 3k. Rabbit and Fungus. Another Brave based unit. If I recall correctly, I think the ratios were 3 triple rares and 5 double rares in these boxes, so they really increased the number after they changed. Wow, we got 3 Taros in here. Oh, nice! We got a GR. One steeped in Sin Sharat. So, that's another thing about these boxes is that they have a special rarity called a Generation Rare. And there's even a secret Generation Rare in boxes as well. Now, I believe these were only 1 in every 4 boxes back then. But Sharat is a pretty good one overall. What did it do? It puts all rear guards into soul when it attacks, and then gets 10k. And if the number of your soul is 10 or more, all of your opponent's rear guards retire. And then if you have 15 or more, your opponent cannot use sentinels from their hand. So, pretty strong card overall. And even on the secondary market, at least for a while, it still maintains some decent value. Artrude, Ruthven, another Dory. And here is a quintet wall for... Yeah. Oh, yeah, and this was used during the G anime, too, for Chaos Breaker, Nobelium. So, when you quintet wall with this one, if your opponent did not hit during that battle, then your opponent has to choose one of their rear guards and lock them. So, they would have to choose from their rear guards. Cards that are already locked are no longer considered rear guards. So if you had already locked most of their board and they only have 1 or 2 units left, they'll be forced to choose between them. We got Sharon again. Ah, here it is. Summer's Height Flower Maiden Marchuga. Yeah, so this was intended to be a Vanguard, so it's its own type of deck. When you rear guard with Bloom, chosen by a card effect you can draw, and when your other Marchka is placed, and then you choose a unit to give it 3k, and if it's Ronnie, which was the other grade 2 we pulled, if it hits a Vanguard, you draw and you soul charge. They also changed the icons of the cards to indicate soul charge, soul blast, and all that, which ended up becoming a whole lot more... It became a whole lot easier to... It became a whole lot easier to handle. Squeed, Soldier, Nightmareland, and Svava. Svava is also a Revelation support card. And then, what did we get? Doom, Gina, Dragon. We got 4 Taros in this box. Wow, we got 4 Taros. And another Regalia grade 3, Verdanti. So besides Minerva, yeah, because in the G format, Minerva doesn't even have a grade 3 to make use of. It becomes a grade 4, though. Millennius, Rookie. We got a draw trigger this time, Carpio. Edge in the Darkness. Then Drill Monk. Proton Striker, Succubus of Desire. Nightmareland. Oh! This G Guardian seems to be getting really popular these days. Doting Harlequin Maha. And this one is particularly for Pale Moon, so that is actually not bad. Alright. So looking pretty good there. Okay. Azusa, Kemgar. We have Deleter supported in here too. Oxia and Estelle. This is a quintet wall for Jewel Knights. And the last pack. Well, we didn't get a God pack, unfortunately, but let's see if we pull anything here. And we got... Nope, it's just a rare Irie. Okay, so let's see here. Given that when it comes to rares, they're immediately replaced, so let's see how many foils we got here. Double rare wise, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as expected. And yeah, we got 2 triple rares, and it looks like the GR took the spot of one of the triple rares. So yeah, packs in the past were a whole lot less forgiving in terms of being able to pull a lot of the bigger cards that you wanted. So I'm pretty sure now. It was 3 triple rares per box, and the GR can replace one of them, and only 5 double rares per box. But there's still a lot of good stuff that you can pull for premium format out of these. Like, I mean, this is actually getting popular right now, so pretty stoked that I pulled that one. But no SPs either, so ratio of SPs back in older packs was, if you bought a case, which was still 20 boxes, then you would only get an SP 1 in every 4 boxes. I don't remember what the ratios of the God packs were, though. So, yeah, that's something that I'd have to go back and look at some point. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully getting to see the deck sets in the flesh can help you whether or not you want to consider even buying the premium version. Otherwise, there's always the regular one as well. And ultimately, artwork-wise, like I said, Harry's my favorite. But yeah, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.